took all my diners away. It's a very unhappy day. Where am I gonna go at 2 a.m.? Back in the Delaware Valley. Back in WAWA-Land. Gonna take a stand. Back in WAWA-Land. I gotta fluff up this song and complete it. It started out sitting in a bus going somewhere in New Jersey. See, the Wawas started in New Jersey and in southeastern Pennsylvania. There's a town called Wawa, and the word Wawa is a native word that literally means a Canada goose, because that's their sound. Wah, 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 wah. That's the sound, and that's how the town got named. And there's a town in Canada that's called Wawa, and when you drive through Wawa, there's this gigantic Canada goose figure at the entrance to the town. So Wawa just means the Canadian goose. So there's a little dairy and convenience store company that started out in New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania. And that Wawa company has turned into a favorite go-to place for snacks and meals and gasoline and a bunch of other stuff. Then I'm living in Florida, and all of a sudden, boink, there's a Wawa in Pinellas County, Florida. There's a Wawa in Pinellas County, Florida. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Stop in for a Wawa hoagie while I get some fuel. But it's interesting because the song indicates how if you're in Ohio or Oklahoma or Washington State, you ain't got no Wawas, and you don't got no diners neither, usually. I mean, if there's a diner open 24 hours, like the Stratford Diner, like the Silver or the Silver Star or Golden Star Diner, you know, there's a handful of goodies that are still open 24 hours. And you can go there at 2 a.m. if you just need a place to rest, smile at a waitress, sit at the counter, have a bite to eat. I grew up in New Jersey where there was a great 24-hour diner every half mile. Between a half mile and a mile apart, all of them. and we would argue over the one with the best jukebox, or the one with the best home fries, or the one with the best waitress that you fell in love with, or just the family that ran the diner. Hello, my friend. Treating you really like friends and family, more so than your own family. The diner atmosphere when I was in junior high and high school was an atmosphere of conviviality and community friendship that was unparalleled in America. And when I went and worked in a British pub, worked in a British pub in Chiswick, in suburban Chiswick, a little what they call a piss pub, just kind of a beat up old working class pub. Turnham Green, the Barley Mow. The Barley Mow. Wow, that's interesting. I just realized that. That is in the story of Gideon. There is a dream and a dream interpretation. I saw a loaf of barley bread rolling down the hill, and it fell into the tent of the king, and everybody got terrified and ran away. And the other person said, "Oh, that's Gideon, God's mighty warrior. He will lead the Israelites to victory." So literally the spirit awareness of the enemy of the people of God, the spirit awareness was, that person who's leading God's people is powerful and invincible and should not be messed with. So it's very interesting that I worked at a pub called the Barley Mow. I never even thought of that. So anyway, I worked at this pub called the Barley Mow, and it was just loaded with ordinary British families. The people all came in, and the kids had snacks and meals, and like the whole family was in there. Just the whole community was in there hanging out with one another. And I realized this is like the New Jersey diners that I grew up with. And we would always want to just go sit in the diner. And Sweet One, the spirit of loving kindness, says, "You're going to flow out the diner book." Me and my friend, who used to be married, have hundreds and thousands of photographs of our tours all around America, especially in the diner territories. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, New England, Maryland, D.C. Great diners, many of them gone. And what has replaced the diners? Wawa. Back in Wawa-Land. Back in Wawa-Land. Go and take a stand in the Delaware Valley. Back in Wawa-Land. This month of September, I am working on extracting myself from Florida and going back to WAWA-Land and telling the history of West Jersey in the 1600s. West Jersey was Burlington and Salem, Burlington and Fenwick's colony. And from those two locations, William Penn, who respected the Native Americans and the peaceable Quaker people who were not warlike, but believed in being led by the Spirit and not slandering people, but appealing to that of God in each person. Those people built the beautiful planned city, the city of brotherly love, the divine experiment. I will go back to New Jersey and I will teach this younger generation about the history that was never in my history books. Nobody told me the beauty of these people. Hundreds of them were locked up in England just for having home meetings. They were fined for having home meetings. And that is the objective. Home meetings where people are honest, and public meetings where people sit together in silence and listen to what the Spirit is saying. The life-giving Spirit, the Spirit of loving kindness who loves everyone, the Spirit who knows and loves all the children and all the crazy people that are surrounding you. That's the goal and the objective. If you want to assist me or join me in this goal and objective, my goodness, I'm so excited about living the better part of 30 years, 28 years now, just learning and observing, trying to figure out what the greatest and most essential things are to have a peaceable day-to-day life that is guided by the eternal Spirit. A simple life with a group of friends that are completely open-hearted about all the human failings and difficulties, who are actually in mystical connection with the visitor, the friend, Yehoshua, and getting direct advice from the sent Spirit. The sent Spirit, the Holy Spirit, creates sent ones and creates truth speakers who are mocked, misunderstood, rejected, and slandered by many good and ordinary people. The sent ones and the truth speakers are rejected, but they continue to speak the truth and to go from town to town and touch as many random people with information and inspiration and motivation wherever they go. Our job is creating home friend groups who literally are friends with God, and creating sent ones and truth speakers whose objective is creating home friend groups who are completely open-hearted about all of the standard human dopey stuff, the standard human insanity, fits of rage, blasphemy and slander of other human beings, sexual immorality, factiousness, grouping up into little cliques, and all the other junk, stealing and lying and just ganging up on people and focusing more on money and success than the human family and the human needs. But when people are so abused in their lives, they're literally living in survival mode, and they don't feel like, and they are not motivated to stop what they're doing and help others. That's the picture of the Good Samaritan. The Samaritan is a bad religion person. You know, what do you consider bad religion? New Agey or Mormon or Jehovah's Witness? A bad religion person can actually be nice and kind to a suffering human being. Even if somebody doesn't have their religion on right, they can go and be amongst the human family and help and serve and discover the people who are suffering. Discovering the people who are suffering and doing something about it. That is why we should support sent ones and truth speakers who are bringing solutions, who are solving problems, bringing solutions, solving problems in a happy spirit. That's the work. And as Jim Bracken said, life sucks and then you die. Life sucks and then you die. Yes, sir. Back in WAWA-Land.